Welcome back to Trillium Talk and our weekly look at what's been going on at Queen's Park with our team of reporters at the Trillium. Today, I'm pleased to have with us Sneh Duggal, the deputy editor at the Trillium. Sneh, we've had a chance to catch our breath since the provincial election that saw Doug Ford win his third straight majority, and the premier made no secret that he was calling an election based on the need to have the full support of Ontarians to fight Donald Trump and his tariffs. The on-again, off-again tariffs is enough to make anyone's head spin. Sneh, where are we now? What's the latest?
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on, Scott. It's been a whirlwind of a week, just tariff-wise. So the tariffs kicked in on Tuesday, March 4th. That was 25% tariffs on all Canadian products going into the U.S., except for energy, which was subject to 10% tariffs. Then on Wednesday, President Trump granted a 1-month exemption on most of the auto tariffs he had put in place. Then on Thursday, he said that the U.S. would give Canada a bit of a reprieve and that until April 2nd, the tariffs wouldn't apply to Canadian exports that are compliant with the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement. But reports coming out of the U.S. state that according to White House officials, the 25% tariffs would still apply to about 62% of Canadian exports. So it's still a good chunk.
Sneh, it seems that if you blink, you might miss something, which really speaks to Trump's inability to make a decision and stand by it. Now, Premier Doug Ford is having none of it and has remained firm in his stance, which is to get rid of all of the tariffs, or Ontario is full steam ahead. What is Ford's plan?
Yeah, so the premier spoke to reporters on Thursday, and I mean, he called this whole situation with President Trump an absolute mess. The Canadian government has imposed its own retaliatory tariffs on U.S. products, but the province has also taken a few steps. So Premier Ford has ordered the removal of American alcohol from the shelves of the LCBO. He's canceled the deal with Elon Musk's Starlink. Musk is a Trump ally, and his company had a $100 million deal with Ontario to provide satellite internet to homes and businesses in the province. We also heard from Premier Ford on Thursday as well that Ontario is going to add an extra 25% surcharge on electricity that the province sends to New York, Minnesota, and Michigan, and that would start as of March the 10th. So the amount of electricity that Ontario sends to these three states is apparently enough to power about 1.5 million homes. The premier has also threatened to shut off power completely to these states if the tariffs stay, and has talked about stockpiling nickel, which is used by the American military and aerospace industry.
All right. Now, just back to the LCBO for a sec, Sneh, and if you walk into any LCBO in the last couple of days, the shelves certainly look bare with U.S. wine, beer, and spirits now removed. What happens to it? Does it just get stored until all of this madness ends?
That seems to be the case. Our friends at Aurelia Matters looked into exactly what is happening to the alcohol and where it is being stored. But the LCBO was kind of pretty tight-lipped on like specifics, just saying that they've stopped purchasing all U.S. products and that U.S. products aren't available for sale and are being stored until further notice.
Okay, so we now have some kind of a reprieve for now, at least, unless, of course, Donald Trump changes his mind, which is always possible until April 2nd. Let's switch to childcare, Sneh, and an agreement that some in the sector hope will happen before Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is out of office after this weekend. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Ontario and the federal government signed a childcare deal in 2022, and that includes a whole lot of funding from the federal government to help bring childcare fees down to an average of $10 a day in the province. The deal with Ontario and the other provinces it's set to expire at the end of March 2026. So there's been a lot of concern from advocates and the sector just about what happens after that, and particularly if there's a switch in government at the federal level, and if there is a new party in power, what they would do with that childcare program. So on Thursday, the Prime Minister made an announcement in Ottawa that they had reached deals with 11 provinces and territories to extend these $10 a day childcare deals for another 5 years. Ontario was included in the list of the 11, with the federal government saying that it would give the province about $16.77 billion over the 5 years. But out of the 11 provinces that, supposedly had reached agreements, only 10 officially signed deals, and Ontario has not yet. So the provincial minister responsible has said that she's willing to kind of take the deal regarding an extension to her government to be decided on. And she said, with the intention of finalizing the extensions promptly. But the province also wants more money from the federal government. So we're kind of just waiting to see what's going to happen with that. There's, potentially a bit of a time crunch now with the possibility of a federal election coming up, just to get that deal approved and signed.
All right. And an interesting side note that Karina Gould, the MP for Burlington, was instrumental in the $10 a day childcare program and is now running to be Justin Trudeau's successor. And we'll find out tonight if she is indeed successful. There's Sneh Duggal, deputy editor at the Trillium, joining us today on Trillium Talk. Don't miss a minute of the action at Queen's Park. Sign up to become a Trillium Insider today at thetrillium.ca. Thanks for watching today. For all of us at Village Media, enjoy the rest of your weekend.